Hey, you're back again this weekend. Oh, wonderful. You guys are back. It's another Monday. It's another time for the off night. That's right, folks. You came in time for the off night. Your host and MC will be, of course, Mark Sweetman. My name's Andy Johnson. Please let's welcome with the biggest round of applause you can. And we've got lots of guests this time. We have guests. So please welcome Mr. Mark Sweetman.
Thank you. All right. Hey, Andy, thank you for that introduction. You're getting better at it each time. I'm glad to see that.
Hey, once you get the music going, I'm able to kind of fit in. I think it works, you know?
Yeah, well, I think that's why I picked that music. It's kind of a pick-me-up kind of music, and I think it works. How was your week?
My week was good. Did I tell you I violated my my rule of leaving the room. I went. My friend from Qatar is in town, and so last week I took him out to a place called Echo Valley, where you can do something called tubing, and and what is a big sled you can go down in the snow? Tobogganing.
Toboggan. Okay.
Yeah. So my favorite thing to do is to take people from the desert and have them go on snow. It's kind of and it's the same pleasure I get from watching Texans drive on ice, you know. But it was fascinating. We had a good time. She was totally completely covered in every ounce of clothing possible, and she brought her 13-year-old boy who when they were here last, like 3 years ago, they went sledding down Veterans Hill. Awesome. So this is actually quite different. But they
now people from Qatar, this must be great for them. I mean, getting Although I do know, you know what, Iraq and Iran and parts of Syria and Turkey also have snow, so you're not that far away in Qatar to some snow. So
well, their temperature there now is 110. That's the winter temperature.
Yeah.
But they're right in the dead center of it all. They're basically like a sand dune connected to Saudi Arabia. So it's kind of interesting. But she is a professor in Qatar, and she's also doing a professorship over in Indiana U.
And is that rhythm guitar, lead guitar?
No, it's actually, I'm saying it wrong. It's Qatar. It's like, hey, welcome back, Qatar. You know, ooh, Qatar. Oh, that's what you're supposed to say. Oh, Mr. Qatar. You know.
Well, it's good to be here. Hey, and Andy, we have one scheduled guest and a couple of people I said to stop by, and you told me, just to let people know, you told me that you'd bow out if we need the space on the screen and the bandwidth. Right. And the bandwidth, because I can only get 6 people on here with my bandwidth.
Right.
When we get the advertisers and we can move into the huge studios, then we'll be able to filter the screen with people. But for now, we're keeping it to 6. But anyway, let's get back to our guest. Who's this next guy's not a guest? He's a co-host practically. He's been with us every week since August. How about a warm welcome back for your friend and mine from Lower Manhattan? Hey, there's Sam Greenfield. How you doing, Sammy?
I'm very well, thank you very much. I spent yesterday with one of the most enjoyable Sundays I've had in a long time. Excellent. I watched the former President Donald Trump speak, and I just want to tell you, it was the most uplifting experience I can imagine. At some point, my nose will smash through this window.
Well, someday when I get technically proficient, I'll have the effect that will show the crackling of the screen in front of me. I'll be able to create that effect of the.
You know, my daughter gave me this shirt. You can't see it, but what it says. See what looks like a bathroom sign?
Yes.
All right, that says your daughter, and then over here, my daughter. Okay. Now, my daughter gave me this for a gift, and I said, someone's going to beat me up. Someone's going to see that and go, oh, really? And I'm going to get punched. She goes, no, you won't. Yeah. You know how to handle yourself. I went, oh, thanks. That helps a lot. Now I feel better. I don't know what I have these on for. The Bluetooth doesn't. If I turn the Bluetooth off, will I be able to hear you through my pods? Because it doesn't seem to work with the Bluetooth.
I don't know. I tell you what I use. I use a Chromebook. And the reason I use a Chromebook, because I just bought it 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
The newest technology out there, and I figured everything upgrades and everything.
I'm on Chromebook.
Oh yeah, okay. So
I'm thinking about turning the Bluetooth off.
I don't use Bluetooth. I'll show you what. In fact, I'll show you what I got right here. I've got. Oh man, this is going to be.
That sounds dirty.
I may unplug myself here, but yeah, it doesn't. I may unplug myself here, or my
that
lights
has to hurt.
But everything is. Can I get it over here? Oh wait, no.
Yes, here we are, folks. Old men working technology.
Yeah, there we go. Old men working. Here, let me tip this a little bit here.
Change the name of the show to Thigamajig.
There we go. Okay, this thing right here is a. This is a USB plug, and what it does is it gives me. I plug it into my one USB connection in my Chromebook, because I only spent $100 on the Chromebook, and then these, it turns it into 7 connections. So I got a bunch of stuff. I don't like the Chromebook keyboard, so I got an old keyboard from an old Windows machine, and that's got a USB plug. I plug it in there. I got a wireless mouse plugged in there. I've got my phone plugged in there, and that's what plays the theme music at the beginning.
I think I'm just going to leave it like it is. You guys can hear me.
Yeah. The only upgrade.
This is a new car talk for
car talk for old men.
It's a new car talk, because it's just as exciting as being a person listening to people talk about cars. It's like, yeah, great. Yeah.
You know what's funny about that is I saw James Corden's interview with Prince Harry the other day. Anybody catch that? And he was
Prince Harry?
Prince, isn't it? It's Prince Harry from England. The
Meghan Markle's husband.
Yes, that guy. Yeah. The ginger prince. But anyway, so he's talking about how, he says Archie, their son, I guess has regular visits through Zoom meetings with Grandma and Grandpa, the Queen and Prince Philip. And he says, really, your grandpa's 99 years old. He goes, and he can manage Zoom. He goes, yeah, he does all right. He pushes the Zoom button. It's the only thing he goes to, so it's the only thing on the list. Somebody's got it set up for him. This list, and when he says goodbye, he doesn't click the leave meeting button. He just takes the top of the laptop and flips it down.
He's in the hospital now.
I heard that. He's 99. I don't know how much longer he's going to get, but I mean, if I get 99 years,
he's 99. The Queen Mother lived to be 103.
Yeah.
The Queen is like 94. These people have no stress in their lives.
What do you mean no stress? They got the press. Come on.
No.
Of course they don't have to read the press.
The only thing that has stressed her out, I would imagine, is Andy.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
And now she knows.
That's a good point right there. We brought up royal sexual sexcapades. We brought up the press, so it's time to bring our journalists in here. She's been joining us for about the last 5 weeks. She's our Florida reporter, because we don't get enough news from Florida. We have to have a reporter down there.
Ryan.
Kathy Ryan, everybody.
I'm on you about this.
I know. It's the lighting. It's the lighting, Sam.
Of course it is. Everybody has red bulbs.
Yeah, well, I was dozing off there with Tech Talk. So
Tech Talk.
But yeah.
We were all wrapped in all of it. I just want to tell you.
Well, but the Queen's Sex Talk brought me back. Pardon me?
I said, this is the part where you tell us what the temperature is down there.
It was 80,
we got up to
87 today. We went down to Gasparilla Island to see George and Laura Bush are down there. So we thought we'd go down and see if we could have a sighting. But
I met him. I met George Bush. I met George W. Bush. He was, except for the fact he got led around the nose by Cheney, he was nice. He was a nice guy.
Well, I think he was easily led by a lot of people, but
Well, you know, the thing I always remember about him was he appointed a lot of very strong women in his inner circle. Karen Hughes, Condoleezza Rice, you know, they're very strong. They're not women. They were very strong people. So for that, I admired him. But his big mistake was he's a recovering alcoholic. And one of the things they do is they create a comfort zone for themselves. So he appointed Dad's friends.
Yeah.
You know,
well, Dad's friends appointed him, you know,
pretty much.
Well, yes, Baker and
you guys see the movie Vice?
Say again?
You see the movie Vice?
Yes.
Yeah, that probably is the best documentary about the whole thing, even though it's made of fictionally. But
did you ever see the documentary on Cheney on Showtime?
No. I only get free TV.
They talk about you know, Bush came to realize that Cheney had, you know, just completely screwed up regarding Iraq. And Bob Woodward, who I'm in awe of him. Everybody knows he's coming to get dirt on people, and he gets them to talk. It's amazing.
How does he do that?
Yeah. So he was talking, and Cheney wanted to bomb Iran, right? And Condoleezza Rice, who now had Bush's ear much more than Cheney at this time I'm talking about the story, said, no, we can't bomb Iran. You can't bomb someone because you think they're a threat. And Cheney said, no, we have to. And then Woodward's narrating this, and he goes, and at that moment, Bush rolled his eyes and said, how many people agree with the vice president? And no one raised their hand. So when Donald Rumsfeld retired, Cheney delivered the speech, and in front of Bush, he said, I have never had a better boss, and nor would I want one. In front of him.
Well, we don't want to go too much further because we got a guest tonight, and I'm going to take you guys down.
Let's bring that person on now.
Well, I'm going to bring her on now, but I need to introduce her to our audience. So I'm going to take you guys down, bring her in, do a quick little interview with her, sort of like an introduction for everybody, and then I'll get you guys back in here. All right?
Okay.
So we'll see you guys.
We'll hang. Wow.
So go take care of business. Go take care of business, Sammy.
I'm frozen again.
Are you really?
No, you're not. No,
you're not frozen on our screen.
We can hear you.
No. My voice isn't, but all of you are frozen.
Yeah, you're fine.
How many fingers?
Shame on you.
Well, I'm not frozen. We just proved that.
I'm gonna sign off and come back, and that'll unfreeze me.
That'll work.
I don't know what else to do. All right, so
talk get right back in,
and I'll be back.
Okay, that sounds good to me. All right, so all I need to do now is
I'm it.
All right, Kathy, I'm just going to get rid of you, and then you just watch from the outset. All right. Okay. Someday I'm going to have a producer that's going to do all this crap for me, and I'll just have to do the interviewing. Anyway, coming on now is put a call out last week for some people that I thought could keep up with us. And here's an old friend of mine, Penny Bowler. Penny, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Penny, I know no problem. We met when you were a waitress at the Comedy Castle, right?
I believe so. Or maybe, I think it was the Comedy Castle. I was going to say maybe Club
Or did we meet at Bart's?
We
might have met at Bart's before that. Yeah.
I was usually
I see her. Yeah, I see her from time to time out there. So it's good to see you and have you with us. Now, the way this works is you've seen the banter. You've been able to see us bantering while you were waiting to come on.
Yeah, I'm familiar with podcasts.
No. Well, this one's a little bit different. To get asked back each week, you got to keep up. So
don't know. I'll see what
It's always hard because everybody's on a half a second delay too, and it's hard to get used to that as well. So, and I can't really help that because I can't afford more bandwidth than what I can get for with my ISP. So anyway, what have you been doing what have you been doing during the pandemic?
Well, I work in the service industry, so I was off. In the beginning, I was like, well, most of the time I was just drinking heavily, to tell you the truth. Just drinking.
Now, was that good? Anything
No,
good come of that?
I've since stopped drinking, which is kind of a big deal because I'm Irish.
Well, same with me. I stopped drinking about 6 weeks ago.
No kidding. You got like double, twice as much, twice as long. Although I did do a shot last night, but I mean.
Well, you know what? I think you probably drank more than I did. When I say I stopped drinking, it wasn't like it was a big deal for me. My drinking was basically a cocktail after the show or something. And since I haven't been doing that many shows, it hasn't been that many. So, but I kept the tradition here on Monday nights. And sometimes I would start the drinking before the show was over, because all the shows weren't that great, So you had to, every once in a while you had to boost it a little bit. But yeah, you can drink if you want. I don't care.
Might if I had.
But anyway, I'm glad you were able to join us. Now, have you crossed over into the professional comedy realm yet? Are you still doing open mics or improv? What was your forte here? As I recall, I only saw you at open mics, so I don't know if I've ever seen you work professionally before.
I think I worked professionally. I mean, that's a loose term, professionally, but I did get paid. And
okay, that's professional.
An actual, like if I was really in showbiz, I would be like, yeah, I opened for Maria Bamford.
Oh, there you go.
Stretch the truth. I was in a room adjacent to her, and I totally killed. This one guy actually fell out of his chair laughing, fell out of his chair. And I asked him from the stage, I was like, who are you? Are you a plant? Because I don't know you. And then he laughed even harder. It was a great experience. Heather Kozlakowski booked me. It was at the Crowfoot, and she actually opened for Maria Bamford. But I was in with a bunch of other female comics. And then I had another opportunity at a place called Chardonnay in Wixom. And then the manager of the Comedy Castle told me if I took this night off to do comedy, I would be fired. And I needed the job, so I didn't do that gig. And then I got frustrated with comedy because somebody whose name I won't mention because he's recently passed away, stole some material from me when I was in a class at Comedy Castle. And I just got so frustrated. I was like, that's like a whole bit that I had, and he stole it almost verbatim.
Wow.
And then it was even funnier because then another comedian kind of did the same riff on the same premise. And I was like, oh, well, at least she stole it from him. And I just got frustrated and I just said, screw it. And then I didn't do it for a while. And then I got into improv. Basically, because my boyfriend was like, you need to learn to listen. And I think it's creative and it'll be good for you. And I was like, well, it's around the block and it's cheap. And I did it. And I enjoyed it. And I did learn to listen.
All right. Well, I'm going to bring the rest of our crew back in.
Okay, great.
And, now that they know Penny a little bit more.
Hello.
Here's our announcer and sidekick Andy Jensen, and joining us also is from Florida, our Florida correspondent Kathy Ryan. And I'm not
Penny,
seeing
what group are you with? What improv group are you with?
Oh, we're sort of we were a class group, so I would say we're defunct. We did perform on the last Women in Comedy Festival at Planet Ant, which was canceled.
Okay.
This
So
year.
you work through the Planet Ant group?
I do, yeah. And the name of my improv group was Denver Airport. because
Nice.
towards
Planet
it.
Ant is the best improv group in the state.
Well, yeah, we are.
Yeah, they're good. It's the best place to learn.
I enjoyed it. But
I'm trying to get.
I don't know if it's the best place. I mean, it's better than Go Comedy. You can say that.
Yeah, it's a totally different philosophy. It's like the Planet Ant is still based on the philosophies of Second City and stuff.
Yeah,
And the Go is with this
it's more long form, right?
well, the Go is long form. It's not necessarily the long form, it's the styles they go for. It's the one that's out of Chicago. It's the they go kind of opposite the yes ands thing. And it's a very is
it no but?
What's that?
Instead of yes and, they go no but. Instead of yes and.
They go no but. Exactly. That's exactly it. It's by Napier. Napier's philosophy. What's that?
Maybe I should go there. I do have that sort of personality.
They go on. The whole philosophy is they struggle. You fight to get on stage. You try and come up with a strong character, and you fight for the stage, but it doesn't work out as well as a yes and does as a group agreement, because you're always fighting. You're always trying to go for the punchline. It tends to destroy any kind of scene work. But
the Planet totally teaches, like, don't do that. Like, they will call you out. Like,
yeah, Planet Ant's a better deal. So it's but for auditions, the Napier is actually probably better for auditions, though. Come in with a strong character and audition.
Fair enough.
I'll show you the book. I got the book right on my shelf.
Oh yeah.
I got thousands of improv books on my shelf. I don't have it on computer. I have it on the shelf.
I have a couple of improv books myself that I bought when I just decided to skip class, and I'd go on Amazon and just say, well, I'll read a book about it. And that would my guilt.
Well, there's a couple of good ones. There's always a Spolin one, but then they have the Something Wonderful Right Away, which is good. Then you have the
what's the one that's like the one that is written by, I can't remember the name, and I actually ended up giving it to my friend Matthias, who was on the home team for Planet Ant, and he got a lot more out of the book than I did, because it was almost like a review of rules and stuff for him. I can't remember the guy's name, but he started Improv Olympics IO.
Oh, I think it's Charney.
Something Indian.
Yeah. That's a really good book. That's good. Del Close.
Yes.
Del Close.
Bingo.
That's a good book. That's really good.
I'll have to.
And yeah.
Hey, so if you look at your screen, we've been joined by Chris Young. Chris is an old friend.
Hey, how are you guys doing tonight? Thank you.
Oh,
Pretty
wow.
Chris is an old friend, a new star. He's one of the few people to get a spot on Dry Bar Comedy, and that's a joke because there's literally thousands on Dry Bar now. But
right,
Chris was one of the first ones to get on there.
The things you have to do in Utah when it's early, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Hey, they do 2 shows and can still they can do 2 shows and get to bed by 9 in Utah. So that's pretty good.
That's it. And it's one of those things. It's funny where they say, watch your risky material. Like smoking is frowned on, but having multiple wives, now that's fine. So
yeah. I used to do a club there, and I used to do a club in Provo called Johnny Biscuits. I loved that place. I did rather well there. I did that a couple times a year back in the late 80s, early 90s, back when I was kicking ass and taking
there
enemies.
You go. Yeah, remember us talking about that. That was cool. So
yeah. Anyway, it's you know what though, those people like to laugh, that's for sure.
They do in their they show up early, like you said, and show up often, and then as soon as it's done, out the door they go. So there's no, hey, let's go out for drinks or anything afterwards. Not that
that's true.
my
Let's go
thing,
home.
but
Yeah.
I actually in Provo is where I taped. And it's funny that Dry Bar's there now because that's where I taped my promo video, the one that I would send to booking agents and stuff. And one of the things that the guy that I hired to do it was a local Provo guy. I'm sure he's not there now. I think I was 29 and he was probably 23 at the time. So he's probably got a career somewhere. But anyway,
Sure.
He did this really cool thing where he like interviewed people as they were leaving the show, and then kind of at the beginning and the end of my tape would be like, would try to match up the people coming in and the people coming out and how, you see them coming in, you see my show, you see them going out and they're all laughing and everything. I thought it was kind of cute. But as I was looking at it the other day, I saw that one of the people coming out was Sean Bradley. Do you remember Sean Bradley?
I do. Yeah. The basketball player that was like 13 feet tall.
Yeah, he was in Space Jam with Daffy Duck and Michael Jordan. But anyway,
Right.
yeah, he was playing at Brigham Young at the time. So I just thought that was kind of cool to see this. I go, God, that looks like Sean Bradley. And I look at the little clothes, I pause the thing, and holy crap, it was him at about 18. It was so funny.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Was that-
Yeah. So you coming to see you.
I think he was coming to see comedy. I was in comedy back when we made money at it. Nobody came to see me. I was making, I was making $800 to $3,500 a week, depending on the position of the show and where it was, and the sponsorship and who the agent was and all that stuff. And if I could get $800 a week, I mean, I think the only one that gives me $800 a week now is Roger in Ann Arbor. And I mean, I wasn't even headlining everywhere. I mean, and nobody came to see me. Nobody came to see
Right.
me. They came to see. That's back when comedy was
An event.
Yeah, well, HBO came out and they had the
Mark?
Young Comedian special.
Yep.
This is reminding me of, when like my sister's mother-in-law tells me how much credits were cost at her law school. She's like, I worked a job and I put myself through law school. It was $5 a credit.
Yeah.
And then I
So
hate you.
She must be older than me because mine was $12 a credit. So
It's still really insulting.
Back in the 80s. Oh, yeah. I remember the 80s. Yeah.
Back
was
before
good.
summer money became normal money.
You know who the author of
Yeah.
Summer Money is, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, the downfall was, of course, it was like they started training, using comedy as an actual class in college. And that's when I started in the late 80s, early 90s. Comedy was doomed. So
Well, a lot of colleges were started in Europe by the trade unions, and
Oh yeah, blame the unions.
oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Don't bring up the unions. Okay,
Very right.
all right.
No, but I'm saying it was built to establish. Oh, is that your book? Is that your improv
Yeah.
book?
So this is the wait. Let me see if I can get this right.
Oh, I
Did I
see.
get it right? All
You
right.
had it right the
Jeez,
first
I
time.
can't seem to do this right. Here we go.
There you go.
No, I got it. Napier. At first, when you said Napier,
Okay.
I thought I didn't know the meaning of that word, and I got very uncomfortable.
Yeah. So
But
it was the Annoyance Theater in Chicago. So it's a totally different aspect than. But this is a really good one. The Upright Citizens Brigade.
Oh yeah, UCB.
I mean, you get this.
Yep.
This is really good. It really lays it out better for it has the whole everything you need to know. Everything you need to know about improvisation is in this book.
Well,
Everything you need to know.
UCB just closed their LA theater at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they closed down their New York one too.
Oh, did they? I didn't hear about that. I just heard about
I
that.
didn't hear that either. I
is
knew about
IO still open anywhere?
Improv
Soccer.
Olympics?
Yeah.
The IO closed in Chicago,
you
Yeah, I
guys.
haven't seen it.
and
In
they
a
just
few
sold the
years.
building. They sold the building for Second City, but Second City is still going to continue. They just sold the building.
Rent now.
Yeah.
They
who knows?
they had the controversy at Second City because they fired the guy who was owning it, because he wasn't hiring
Black people.
diversity, not enough diversity, black people, anything, not enough diversity. So
Right.
he retired. He sold
sense.
his section of it.
There's a lot. I mean, that's part of
Who's that?
I mean, there's not a lot of diversity even at Planet Ant because people, a diverse, there's not a lot. They are in the minority. The minorities are in the minority in improv. It's kind of like a white male pursuit, in my experience. It's dominated, at least. I mean, not.
Well,
but it's just coincidence, or that's the type of. They thought.
Well, see, I think one of the issues, of problem with improv is that it's if you're doing a scene like that takes place in a place like China or something like that, you're supposed to have universal characters and stuff. So it's like what happens is, I don't know if it's natural or whatever, but sometimes they'll always punch one person into a slot. They had this trouble with women too. That in the improvisational aspect, the two male guys would force the women to be into two different things. You're either a hooker or you're a mother.
Yes,
because it was like there were
Which
too few women.
The same.
But then you have to turn it around and rock
So that's.
And be like, oh, I'm a hooker. Guess what?
They need more diversity, more women and stuff. But it has to be like it's.
Yeah. You have to dominate the scene.
I'm having trouble hearing. Must be I'm getting old.
You said
No,
it.
it's just I can't afford a good bandwidth. So we every time we add somebody, we have more delays.
So with I see too as improv right now. Like there's no jump off point for them. That's the thing. You see a lot of people doing stand up, but not going back and forth because it's either one or the other. It's not like I do improv a couple nights a week and then I'll do stand up 2 or 3 like they used to. Now it's you're one or you're the other. So
I think Tam.
Well, I think the thing about the plus side of stand up is you have a shelf of work. You have a body of work when you're done with stand-up. But in improv, there is no body of work left. You could work 6-7 years and you don't have anything but the characters. There's no real body of work you can take with you. Because if you do it like Del Close says, there's no carryover from each show.
Right.
Hopefully.
But if you do like Second City owns all your characters. It's kind of a bizarre sort of a combination thing. So
now, when you say Second City owns your characters, everything you create at Second City, they own.
Is that
true?
It's
kind of like you're creating together. So you can take your character with you, but you can't take the scenes with you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's a weird way of looking at copyright.
Interesting.
Well, they must have established the law then, right? I mean, because before Second City, was there any sort of? I mean, improv was a theater game. You know what I mean? The theater that you'd learn in theater schools and stuff.
Yeah. So it's like the Second City it came from the Compass. The Compass was like one of the first things that started to use the improvisational techniques from Spolin. And that expanded into a series of different locations. Then they collapsed, and then in their place, Second City kind of picked up. But they finally, because Second City was set up using the improvisation to create the scenes, and then the scenes became the actual play. So you created the dialogue and stuff. So at the end of the set shows, you would have the improvisation. And then Del Close went against that because Del Close didn't like the idea that you were always pressuring the performers to create a scene, that it wouldn't create a natural thing. So he was always on the Herald aspect. He always wanted to do heralds because it was always in the moment. It was never set up to create scene work. You were just in the long form and you were just doing the scenes. Right. And there would be no two scenes alike. But I think the problem with improv is that you have a group mindset and you never really get the individual thought pattern through, like you get in stand-up. Like you have a specific stuff that you do, Sweetman, that is is your thought pattern, plus, minus, whatever it is. That's your thought pattern. When you get into the group, you never get to finish it off. It's the group mindset, and you start to kind of get it. It becomes almost a generic mindset if you're with not such good players. So it's like it's
true.
I think it's weird, but I think there's some really good players up at the Planet Ant that really kind of work against that. They try and make sure that they're always fresh with stuff. But it's
well, we got comics.
You can get into a rut.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I like watching anything least than a comic who's trying to come up with new material every time they get on stage.
Right, that there's never any stop to it, and so what do we want to talk about today? Well, they're not part of that decision. You should have that made up when you hit the stage.
Exactly. I don't know. Yeah, that's what we came here for. You're supposed to tell us what to think about.
But time out. Let's go out. So what, and that's sometimes what people forget is like improv. That would be really good because they watch, whose line is it anyways, and see that sort of, okay, we're going to lead this path and go this path, where I don't, as a stand-up, really want them talking to me. I want them laughing, but I don't want the talk is, I don't know if that's right, wrong, or indifferent, but I think that's the way it has to be.
Well, we always walk that fine line when we do crowd work. You know what I mean? Because I think the improv training that I had helped me with crowd work, and I loved it. Sam, are you on?
Yes, I didn't want to write this off to coincidence, but last week, as you started to introduce me, Andy cut you off and went on to an extended riff about something. And this week, as you started to introduce me, Andy cut you off and went into a 12-minute riff on something, indigenous to all the indigenous to all the fine people in Michigan. So I kind of felt like Yasser Arafat at a bris. And so I will now just, I'm here.
All right.
I'm not saying Andy did it on purpose, but I did hear "got the fucker" coming out of his mouth. So except for that, I don't think it was on purpose.
All right, now let's not get all.
I can say that. I'm sorry.
I'm kidding. Jesus, if I can't kid comics, please, if I can't kid Andy, who I know has a criminal record, come on.
Yeah, I work as Santa. How can I not have a criminal record? Most of them have.
Exactly. By the way, speaking of criminals, did anyone see the Mia Farrow thing?
I missed it.
What did you think, Penny? No, there's two parts.
Oh, there's only two? Oh, okay. Well, I saw one.
Yeah.
Oh, and just full disclosure, I'm from New York City, so don't.
I beg your pardon?
I am from New York City, so I heard you're Lower Manhattan, and
right. Where did you live?
I live in Stuytown. My dad still lives in Stuyvesant Town.
Oh, wow. Yeah, 14th Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to digress, but you said you're all talking about Michigan, and
if you didn't see it, it was very. I don't know if this is the right phrase. It was very pro Mia Farrow.
It was.
It was very pro Mia Farrow.
And very anti Woody Allen, I assume.
Very much so. And but here's the thing. I've really, I think that there should be a place in hell for pedophiles. Okay. And I don't think he did it.
Really?
And I'll tell you why I don't think he did it. And it's not because, I love Woody Allen's work. No, that got nothing to do with it. I like Cosby, and I think he should burn in hell. No, that's not why. I've never heard of a pedophile who did it once and stopped. There's no such thing as a pedophile who does it once and stops. That's number one. Number two, she's got a son, Moses Farrow, who's now a clinical psychologist. And he said that she drummed it into those kids every day. Now, remember, if you're asked, Woody did this. If you're at every day, every single day. Number three, He was never charged. He was never convicted. And the police in Connecticut said they believed, and this is a quote, they believe the child was coached.
But what
Okay.
about
Number
Suneet?
four,
Hmm.
Moses Farah, who is Asian, said that the way she treated the non-white adoptees was very different than the way she treated the white ones. He said he felt like he was domestic help.
I had heard that. Yeah.
Okay. She threw
Wow.
ashtrays at kids. She had
Yeah.
temper tantrums. And by the way, this is a woman who walked naked into Sinatra's apartment to introduce herself. This is a woman who stole
Wow.
Andre Previn from his wife when she was 23 and he was 50. So, spare me.
Huh? I never heard that.
And he's
about-
never been charged. And
Yeah.
this thing about, well, the cops wouldn't charge a celebrity. They're dying to do that.
Yeah.
They would love to. No, I don't buy. But the biggest thing to me is pedophiles don't do it once.
Yeah.
They
Good point.
No, no. I'm kind of familiar with that territory. No, they do not do it once.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What little thing though, he did marry her adopted daughter.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon.
He did marry her adopted daughter.
Yeah. Sun Yi,
Yes,
or
he
what's
did.
her name?
Yes,
Yeah.
he did. Sun Yi.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Yep, and I understand that, and I understand her anger about that. Okay, but he's not a pedophile. I'm not saying he didn't suck for that, but they've been together 26 years and have 2 kids. So
Yeah,
this
I
wasn't like a fling. This wasn't a fling. They fell in love.
Mhm.
I mean, it's seedy and it's skeevy. I agree, but they fell in love. She's 50 now. Time to put it to bed.
older than
Well.
me.
If I can use an ill-phrased, maybe that's not
Yeah.
maybe that's not quite.
How about we
what
put a
I,
lid on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are talking about Utah. Did you ever play cartoons?
In Salt Lake City?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that the one that was in the hotel?
I got on stage and they gave me a list of instructions about what not to say. And I said, I understand that, we're in the home of, the Church of Latter-day Saints. I know how to behave. You don't have to do this. So I got on stage and I said, I am dying for a cup of coffee. And the audience loved it. They laughed. They were laughing. And the manager in the back's going like this. Like I said, okay, you don't have coffee. How about a Pepsi? Who's got a Pepsi? They laughed. They understood. They're not idiots. Jesus. And half of them are what they call Jack Mormons. Calm down. They probably sneak a Pepsi at Thanksgiving to their eternal damnation and shame.
Oh, I think there are a few that are drinking coffee every morning too. I'm not sure
Yeah,
it's-
please.
Yeah.
This is like, I did this line last week, but it's a great line. They asked, what was her name? Fran Lebowitz, why won't Jews eat bacon? Because it's delicious.
Yeah.
It's the same thing to me. I mean, every religion has some kind of food restriction. For years, Catholics, with fish on Friday. Every religion has some kind of restriction.
Mhm.
And
Unless-
every religion has people who say, screw that.
Unless you
yeah.
lived in southeast Detroit, where Father Gabriel Richard got the Catholics to okay muskrat dinners
Muskrat.
on Friday.
Yeah. Ah.
Because muskrat was categorized as a fish
Because they lived in the
because of some technicality that lives in water.
A
So
fish?
the people didn't starve.
Well, it was essentially a rat that swims.
And then
That's
Tony
designated
Soprano
a
made a
fish.
hit out of it.
Yeah.
It's a fish.
I did
Wow.
not anticipate learning this today.
Yeah, I'll say,
Oh my God.
I'll say this for the Utah Mormons. They moved a basketball team from New Orleans to Salt Lake City and kept the name
Sure.
the Jazz. So
Right.
I love that. Well, the Lakers, Minneapolis had the Lakers because of
Right.
10,000 lakes, and they still
Yeah.
call them the Lakers in LA. There's no
Yeah.
lakes in LA. Silver Lake, but that's bull. There's no lakes. I like that the Washington Bullets changed their name to Wizards because they thought that bullets there was a big crime wave, homicides in DC. And I said, yeah, that'll stop the killers dead in their tracks. That'll stop it. Change it to wizards. They'll turn in their guns tomorrow. Yeah.
They'll put a spell on.
Yeah, the thing though, Sam, is I think they've got 2 championships as the Bullets and 0 as the Wizards.
They only have one as the Bullets.
Oh, they only have one? Okay.
19, yeah, trust me. That's my hometown.
You would know, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway,
yes,
I've been watching a lot
Guys,
of
I'm coming right back.
Okay. We'll be here.
She's tall.
We'll be here.
Am I wrong or is she
We'll be here
tall?
for at least another 15 minutes. Hey, so I've been watching a lot of the Mars stuff. You guys getting into that at all?
Oh yeah.
Very cool.
Isn't that amazing? I mean,
It is amazing.
You know
Yeah,
the best
who
part
thinks of this stuff?
about it? You can watch the NASA channel or space.com. You can watch all those channels, and not once is somebody making a political nobody's calling somebody a libtard, and nobody's
Isn't
calling
it great?
somebody
Would you go to Mars
Nobody's
if you had
an
the
idiot.
chance?
I don't
No.
think Mars is, I don't
Chris
think
is saying
Mars,
no.
see, I wouldn't
How
either.
long does it take to get there? How many is it? 7 years or something? What is
Just-
it?
Does it
they
take
just-
that
they just-
long?
They
About
took
7
off
months.
last April. Took 7 months, I think, to get there.
Oh, 7
Well,
months
you
I would go.
used to
7
take
years.
forever to get there.
Seven,
Yeah, used to
7
take
years they'd have
forever.
to pack. No, for me they'd have to pack a walker. No.
No, it
Yeah,
took
I'll be
7
dead
months.
before I get there. Yeah, but
Well,
7 months.
the most idiotic thing I heard was when Trump was saying, "Well, we got to establish a base on the moon because that would be our launching for Mars." Well, when you look at how close the moon is compared to how far away Mars is, why would you need let the Earth be the jump off point for Mars?
Yeah.
What do
We don't need to
a
make a connecting flight from the moon.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think one of the funniest things I've ever heard Mark Sweetman say was quoting Donald Trump about anything to do with science.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll be here all week. Thank you very much.
Seriously.
Thank you.
He is the
Well, that
Werner
was-
von Braun of comedy.
There you go.
But
Well, that
it-
was a joke where how could we get a helicopter to Mars, but we can't get the people in Texas to turn on their lights? And it's because
There you go.
scientists are running Mars and Republicans are running Texas.
Hello.
There you go.
Hello.
Yeah. So there's a political
Did
But
you see
isn't
the
it
thing at
amazing
SNL
Angle
about
on it.
Marjorie Taylor,
Yes.
where she spells science SIENCE?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yes.
Isn't it amazing though that they were able to do that like with the delay? They're watching this and watching it, and there's just even 5 seconds of delay is forever if you're trying to land something you can't
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I do that in the bedroom all the time, but that's
It's an 8-minute
Everything's a dick joke.
Thank you, folks.
You
Clear
have
out.
to do
Give
very
me a dick
funny.
joke and a rocket
was very
joke all in
funny.
one. There you go.
Oh, God.
Mars after dark.
Kenny, how tall are you?
What's
I'm
that?
5 what?
5'9".
See, I told you.
Okay, you're right.
When you got up, I said, she's tall.
I heard you.
Yeah, my daughter's that tall. And she's standing, she just had a photographic exhibit, and they took a picture of her next to me. And I had to write, no, she's not standing on a box, and I'm not standing in a hole.
Oh.
Because she literally has her arm on my head.
Oh, that's neat.
I am diminutive. So,
I've
Is
heard
that what-
that if you have a lot of positive reinforcement as a child, you will grow taller. And so anytime I see a woman who's taller than me, I'm like, I had a shit childhood.
God, I'm
Jabbar-
5'2". Let me tell you.
Jabbar said he loved being tall. He loves it. I mean, he's beyond tall. He's tall plus, but he said he loves it.
Well,
He
what's not
said
to
no-
like?
he
You
said
can reach
there's only
everything on the
enough-
top
like one-
shelf.
I beg your pardon?
What's not to like? You can reach everything on the top shelf.
Well, the one thing about his height is that people that tall, extraordinarily tall, have heart problems.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
You know, there's an ailment called Marfan syndrome,
Yeah.
where the bottom of your aorta will rip. Oh, there was a great female volleyball player, Florence Hyman, and God, what a name to give your child, Flo Hyman. But she was playing volleyball, and she took a timeout, and she sat down on the bench, and I mean, gone in 1 second.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Just slumped over, gone. And a couple of basketball players at the University of Maryland, I remember their names, Owen Brown and Chris Patton, died from the same thing. And they
Didn't
were
they
like
sus-
6'9" and 6'10".
Didn't
Maybe
they
that's
suspect
why-
Lincoln of having Marfan syndrome? Who had Marfan? Lincoln. Abraham
Yeah,
Lincoln.
I think Lincoln did have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
They
Really?
suspect he had that. Yeah.
Well, he was tall for the
His
1860s.
heart didn't give out, but
Yeah, if he didn't sit so far above the seat, it wouldn't have been a different story.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they
Easy shot.
say when I being from DC, I went on a tour of Ford's Theater and all that, and they still have the pillow that his head laid on. You know, it's blood stained, it's encased in glass now, and they said that had he been shot today, he still would have died because DC has shitty doctors. No, because of the of where the bullet entered, he would not have lived.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Of course, that's
guys
of no
pissed-
comfort to the Lincoln family, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Aren't
Well,
you guys
nobody gives
pissed
credit to what's his name for his marksmanship, because that was a musket bullet, you know.
Yeah.
'Cause the accuracy of those things were all over the place. So
and then he jumped onto the stage,
it broke his leg.
broke his leg,
Yeah.
yelled "Sic Semper Tyrannis," and at least half the people in the audience said, "I'm getting a refund.
Exactly.
This is not what I paid to see."
No.
I don't know about
The-
you
one
guys,
of-
but are you guys pissed like I am now? Not just that the idiots at the insurrection, but they screwed it for us forever being able to go see Washington like it was meant to be seen, where people can go to these places and see the people's
Yeah.
house and
Fence
to
down
go into
around the
all these
Capitol?
other different areas.
I think it'll be back.
It'll be back.
It's
I think
totally-
it'll be back, Chris.
one of
I
the
hope
I
fun-
do.
so,
I think
because
it'll be back.
Yeah.
I thought one
Yeah,
of the
it
funniest
just-
things about the insurrection was the footage I saw of them walking like through the rotunda. I don't know what it was. I've never been in the Capitol, but there was like two lines, of like what you see at the bank, like velvet ropes and stanchions. And
Yeah.
not one
They
of them-
stayed.
Not one
Yeah.
of them walked around or kicked it over. They all were like single file,
Yep.
guys. Let's walk in straight
Yeah.
lines. I was like, what kind of are you even serious? Like, is that what type of like cattle you really are? Which obviously
I love these idiots who are now saying, "I was lied to." Really, what tipped you
Really?
off?
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
you
Well, that's why they had that's why, and nobody got the joke because I'm not not allowed to do live shows quite yet. We're getting there this week, but my joke was they talked about how those weren't Trump supporters. They were just everyone else that showed up.
Antifa.
Biden supporters, whatever.
Yeah.
And then storm. That's why they had merch tables there. They had to outfit them. They're not swans.
Yeah.
By the way, at the CPAC, the guy who was selling merchandise said he was taking a bath.
Oh.
No one was buying the stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
They spent all
Well, they
their
found
money
out
on
it was
that
made in the
open
USA, so they said, "No, I can't really."
Yeah, I just hope it's going to come back because my daughter, when I was in 8th grade, there was something that happened where they had some issue at the Capitol, so our DC trip got canceled. My daughter's in 5th grade now, so in a couple of years, I'm hoping they can do the DC trip with the 8th graders because I missed it when I was a kid, and I think we're going to probably miss it with my kids, which poor
No,
kid
once
has me as a
Trump
dad.
is in jail, they'll
There's hoping.
then they'll reopen it, and he's
Yeah.
going to jail.
There's
He's either
hoping.
going to go to jail or he's going to be so bankrupted financially that they, he'll
I'm
be a
hoping for the
non-issue.
legal defense.
Well, something's got to be done before I get in power, because once I get in power, I'm reinstituting re-education camps. So if you think the
Yeah,
Uyghurs
but
got
for the
bad
Trump
in-
people, that's a 35-year course.
Yeah.
don't care. I mean, people think that the Jews had it bad in Russia and the
The
Uyghurs
re-education.
had it bad in China. The Trumpies in the U.S.
Yeah,
are going to
just-
have to go through re-education camps.
Just to take government, that's all.
Every time I watch, what's
Yeah.
his name on the Daily Show?
Trevor
The guy who
Noah?
goes to, huh?
Trevor
Trevor.
Noah?
Yeah, the guy goes to the Trump rallies.
Oh,
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
The one,
Jason
the one,
Klein?
huh?
Is it Jason
Klepper.
Jordan Klepper.
Jordan Klepper.
Klepper.
The one
Yeah.
that stays with me is he's talking to a guy, and he says to the guy, "Are you concerned about the fact that no one could find Obama on 9/11? Why wasn't he in the White House?"
Yeah.
And of course, he wasn't even a senator yet. And the guy says, "Yeah, we should look into that. I've been wondering that myself." And I went, "You can't legally be that dumb without falling down when you try to get up."
Exactly.
And to think how many years the progressives were trying to get rid of the intelligence tests to vote, and now we need it. Here we
Yeah.
comes back to bite us in the ass.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Or the woman who said, "Where do you get your," she said, "Even if you saw that it was wrong, you still don't believe it." She goes, "That's right. Where do you get your information from?"
Yeah.
Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
And so I thought,
Not even that anymore, because that, picked on them. So they're somewhere else now.
well, now it's, there's a very well-known radio personality named Lionel. I mean, he used to be a reporter. He was an Emmy winner. And I know this guy. And this guy was, left of center, maybe moderate, he's all in on QAnon now. I mean, this is
Is he an
stuns me.
African American guy?
Huh?
Is he African American?
No.
Okay.
His real name is Michael LeBron. He's from Tampa. No, the QAnon guy, the black guy who Stephen Colbert called Sammy Davis Hitler.
I like that name.
He arranged part of that march on the Capitol.
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
Hitler. That sounds like a band name to me.
It actually does.
Scream metal band.
Please welcome the Hitlers.
The Hitler. There we go.
Yeah.
A one and a two.
I had an uncle who was the most pro-union, and that's one of the reasons I am, but one of the most pro-union people I've ever met in my life. And he's over our house. I think I was 8 years old. And my mother says, "We're going to watch Lawrence Welk." He goes, "Then I'm leaving." And she goes, "Why?" And I thought, well, it can't be because he's German. Don't tell me that, And he goes, "No, you know why? Because he paid his band minimum, union minimum, not a dime over minimum. Yeah. Everybody, every band guy, every dancer, every singer on that show made the bare union minimum."
Isn't that cool?
And he said, he could afford to pay him more. Doc Severinsen paid his guys a king's ransom.
Yeah.
Of course, they were much more established musicians. You had Clark Terry and Tommy Newsom and people like that. But the bare union, and he even bragged about it. He said, "God, if there was no union, I could pay them less." And he said, "I will not watch that piece of crap." And my father said, he said to me, "I thought it was because Lawrence Welk is awful." That wasn't it.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't take another polka.
Yeah.
And the one.
They took Lawrence Welk off the air when he was 7th in the ratings.
Yeah, that happens to a lot of people.
Because the average age of his viewer was deceased.
Yeah.
So they weren't buying any products.
Yeah. He was big at funeral homes.
Yeah.
Oh, huge. It's the last time someone is in a 1 and a 2.
Or
we've wasted another hour.
or they
and
took bus trips to Frankenmuth.
we're gonna skip.
Like Myron Florin.
We're gonna keep it going with you guys after we go off the air, but our live portion ends here in about 15 seconds. So I'd like to thank everybody. My announcer Andy Jensen, Kathy Ryan, Sam Greenfield, our regulars, and our special guest tonight, Penny Bowler, and our drop-in guy, Chris Young. Thanks for stopping by, Chris. We'll be here every Monday night. We'll be here every Monday night at 8:00. But this ends the live portion of our broadcast. And join us again next Monday. We're now on YouTube on the Mark Sweetman page. How about that?
Very nice.
We're on Facebook on Detroit Comedians and Comedy Fans, both the page and the group. And I think next week we're going to start broadcasting also on Ann Arbor Live. So, so tune in again next week, 8:00. See everybody then. Goodbye, everybody.
Ciao for now. Stay well.